So I have treated myself to a device called the Hume Band, Hume. And I'm really excited because it gives you some metrics about your health and well being that I don't think I've ever had access to for my health and well being. Now, granted, I'm going to take everything that it tells me with a grain of salt, which I think anything that's new and still being developed. I think some science has gone into this, but I don't know how much. But I think for me, I'm so curious because I feel like I'm static right now with my health outcomes. So let's talk about it. This is MC of Healthy by George. I come each week to talk about all kinds of things that will promote ourselves being healthier and into the best version of who we can be well into our 80s and 90s. And I hope you'll join me by subscribing, push the like button, and share because truthfully, I'm passionate about letting others understand with my 25 plus years of research the curiosity that we need to bring to our health and well being, both physically, mentally, spiritually, so that we can be the very best version of who we are. So join me on this journey and come each week and let's talk about it. So why did I make this investment in this band? Not only did I buy the band, I bought the scale. And apparently the scale, it follows a common research device called a bio-impedance scale, where it has a small electrical current that runs through it and you hold something. And it really helps us understand the content of our body, the fat, the bone, the muscles. I think to me, I'm so excited again about having access to something that's fairly probably similar to research devices, not quite because it's in the consumer domain, but to have something that can give me more information about my metabolic rate, about my sleep patterns, about my ability to have a sense of heart rate variability, which we've learned is a very important measure. I think the other things that the app told me, which is phenomenal, that it will do, is it will give me these things. I think that the things that it's like a cardiovascular health score and then an activation calculating my metabolic capacity. I'm not sure what that means. And also, too, this kind of sleep recommendation. I'm really very curious about the sleep because when we can fine tune our sleep behavior, we really give ourselves an investment into our aging process because sleep is our recovery. And I don't think we as researchers and scientists have really understood the power of sleep. I think we've always thought that I'll sleep when I'll die, which I don't think is the right way to go. But I love that I can explore more about my body that I've never had access to. And granted, I'm going to take this all with a grain of salt, as I think we should all, with any device like the Apple Watches or the Aura rings or the Hoop rings or anything that we are wearing that is giving us information about our health because truthfully we're still learning about how best to measure these elements, and I'm not sure if something that's just tracking what's happening on my wrist is going to be fully engaged in telling me everything I would like to know about my body. Granted, it was not cheap. I took some of my tax refund and used the money to buy the devices because I have been wanting to invest in something. And I'm debating about the Hume Band because bands on my wrist have always bothered me. But this one seems not too bad. It's lightweight, it's not too tight, it just rests on your wrist. I think it's better for me than the ring. Because the ring, to me, I had a hard time. I talked about neurodivergence last week, and things bother me on my skin. I'm hypersensitive to light. I'm hypersensitive to textural things like I can't stand some fibers on my skin. I can't stand the feeling of tags. Some fabrics irritate me. Like I bought this sweater and I'm going to have to give it away because there's something about the fabric that bothers my skin. I think when you learn that this isn't just an abnormality, that this is just the fact that your brain is wired differently. But I'm very curious about understanding more about what I can do daily that will help me in the best way to be the best version of who I want to be into my 80s and 90s. I talked about this before too, how we engage in our life daily. How are you engaging in your life daily? Are you doing things that are going to be supportive of longevity for you? I don't think I really became aware of what I needed to do as an adult until much older, physical and financial. And I think I can even include mental care because, truthfully, the challenge is how do we understand what we need as a whole person? Our medical care is very piecemeal. I don't like it. It doesn't address us as a whole person. It's like looking through one little sliver. When you go see your primary care doctor, they're just looking at you from a general perspective for general problems. They're not looking at things unless some abnormality shows up. But how about looking at us just how can we improve our already health? This is why I'm inspired to do this channel is because of my father. My father suffered with heart disease and then eventually diabetes, and he just really wasn't encouraged by his doctor to do anything. And so he kept it a secret. No one in my family knew except for his hypertension about his diabetes. And to me, that was just horrible that we must figure out ways to help each other understand how we can live our very best life right now in this moment so that it invests into what we're going to be as we get older. Aging is a process. I was talking to a friend of mine recently, and they were very discouraged because of some things that were showing up in their health. And I get it. When all of a sudden our vision is becoming less clear. Or for me, my vision is one eye. I'm starting to read with one eye because my vision, when I'm looking at two things with both eyes, is blurry. But if I look at with one eye, I can see much better. And then the other thing is our hearing. Someone was sharing with me how frustrated they were that they felt like they were losing some hearing loss. These are things that are going to happen as we age. And we either have the choice to look at it with curiosity or in discouragement. And I really want to encourage you to look at things that are happening to you physically, mentally, with curiosity. Because if we can become curious about, I wonder what I can do to help myself. Hearing loss runs in my family very intensely. And I did some preliminary look into hearing, and I did my baseline hearing test last year, which I was proud that I went ahead and kind of stepped into that obstacle to see where I was because the hearing loss is in my family. So I am still worried a little bit because one of the signs that they say of hearing loss is that you'll have suddenly high-pitched noises that'll happen for no reason. So I'm curious about what can I do to learn to lip read or to learn other ways of understanding what people are telling me if I can't hear it. I think there's lots of ways that we can start to see things that we can do that are adaptive in how we engage in our lives. Instead of seeing it as a barrier, we see it as a way to get curious to be adaptive. But I believe that by learning and educating ourselves is a much more profound way to investigate how to be the best version of who we are. Learning more about our physical self, learning more about our mental self, learning more about our spiritual self. I was speaking to another friend of mine who's not spiritual at all. In fact, I think they really believe there's nothing. I think they're atheist. And I embrace that's what they want to believe. But for me, I have a profound spiritual practice. I have a deep sense of spirituality. And it gives me, whether other people may think it's silly or not, It gives me a foundation of feeling I know that I'm supported. I know that I am guided. And in my meditation this morning, I saw my ancestors. They were there, present to me. When I was in my meditation, I felt their presence. Is that something I'm just making up in my mind? Maybe, but who cares? It helps me. So, what helps you? What helps you feel supported? Is there something physical that helps you feel supported, or mental that helps you feel supported, or spiritual? The key is supporting ourselves to be the very best version of who we are is a powerful choice. And we can wake up every single day and make that choice to do everything we can to be the best version of who we are. Even if it means doing one little small thing, maybe it means flossing in the morning when you've never done that. Maybe it means drinking another glass of water when you've never done that. I think the other thing that I'm doing, which was weird, is I started taking one of those green juices in the morning. Yesterday, it wasn't so great. It made my throat tickle. I'm not sure about it. Again, okay, not everybody may be as into the creative exploration as I am. But I have to be honest that I'm really excited about understanding more about my body composition, body composition. When I get on the Hume pod thing, which is like a scale and you hold the handles, I'll show you guys that tomorrow. And frankly, look at how it will help me understand my muscle, my fat, my hydration. And it says 30 other metrics. That sounds phenomenal. So, truthfully, I believe in the research of one. I'm doing research on myself because I'm feeling a sense of I'm stuck in a way, not in a bad way. I want to continue the growth of who I am physically so that I can gain more muscle, so that I can lose more fat, so I can do the things where I know that movement is king because movement keeps our brains alive. Movement keeps our heart alive. All of those things, when we're moving, contributes to our body's well-being. And when we're contributing to our body's well-being, guess what? We're also contributing to our mental health well-being when we move our bodies. So be well, my friends. We have this one precious life. Let's go on this journey together and explore how we can be the very best version of who we are today so that as we get older, we evolve into the extremely amazing version of who we're going to be when we're 80 and 90. Don't you like that idea? Me too. So please subscribe. I'd love to see you here. It's MC of Healthy by George. And I just feel a phenomenal power of really doing things daily that we can invest in who we are today and who we're becoming for our 80s and 90s. I'll see you next week. So join me here. Bye-bye. So thank you so much for joining me at Healthy by George. I hope you found the information inspiring and that it encourages you on your wellness journey. Because remember, your body, your well-being are a most precious gift, and every tiny action taken daily can make a huge difference. I hope the information here is educational purposes and is not meant to replace your medical care. See your doctor and talk about what works for you. If you enjoyed today's content, don't forget to give it a thumbs up and subscribe to my channel. Your support means the world to me, and it helps me continuing creating content that inspires and empowers you to live your best life. Goodbye for now, and join me again at the next Healthy by George.